good afternoon and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and welcome back to the 2024 first season of the W12 Sprint Series. It is season number 6, although in the top left of the screen at the moment it says season number 5. It is, trust me, season number 6, week number 1. We start all over again. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. I wish you all the best for 2024. So does all of the other W12 Sprint Series crew and drivers. So we hope you've had an amazing day. Let's have a look at where we're at the moment. At the moment, you can see we're at Mugello, Autodromo del Mugello, and for once we are not in America, something that is new for the last 3 rounds of, well, for half of the, more than half of the season number 5, previous season run at the end of 2023. We were basically at America. I am very happy to say that for now we haven't been to America yet. Road Atlanta was in the final draw. You sadly haven't been able to see that. That was a mistake on my side. I had just gotten myself a 1490, which means that basically I had to test things, but it's been quite successful so far for quite a couple of people. And of course, one of those high flyers from last season was Winston Eckel. He missed 2 rounds, still managed to finish a respectable P8 in the championship. So that's a good result for him. I'd say one of the high flyers last season. But we're into qualifying. And well, as always last season, which was quite often the case, to be honest, Mirko Bortolotti took the championship. And I can tell you one thing, and that is that from what I have heard, Mirko's not going to make it easy for them once again. I've talked to Mirko. Mirko and I have had a chat, of course, going into this evening. Mirko said to me he's going to do exactly the same like he did last season. I asked him, Mirko, are you going to do a non-qualifying race at the beginning of the season this time, just to spice things up, you know? This championship has run for 5 seasons now, and you're a 5-time champion. No one has ever beaten you. You are the only champion of the series. Are you going to spice things up and not do qualifying at the beginning? He said, absolutely not, mate. This is a new championship. We all start at 0. So, of course, the points from last time round, they don't get carried through. So that means everyone starts from scratch again. And as always, as we had last season, a 5-minute qualifying that is closed. And then, of course, after that we have the usuals. We have the heat races in server number 1, then the consolation race. So heat races will be 6 minutes, consolation race will be 5 minutes. And then, of course, at the end of that, we will go into the feature race. The heat races will still set the grid for the feature race. In terms of that, nothing has changed. It's a great car. It's on a GR86. It's a great car for close racing. And oh boy, was it close at the end of the practice session. Loads of drivers within a second, which is good for the race as well, because in these cars, slipstream is going to be immense. If you lose that toe, I reckon that you lose about, I would say, 7-8 tenths a lap especially at this track. Such a high-speed track. Especially at this track, I would say that if you lose the slipstream or if you lose the toe heat, you're going to lose time. Still looking with Mirko Bortolotti. Board now with the Italian. The width of the track, everything that's available to him. That's something that we'll need to do. Just like last season, there were people that challenge him to the victories. Bottom right of your screen. He's purple in all three of the sectors at the moment. Coming on to the front stretch. Maximilian Paul, what time did he say he goes to pole? On a 207.927 or a 207.972. What can Mirko Bortolotti do? Across the line, the defending five-time champion of the W12 Sprint Series. Well, he goes to second on the exact same time. And oh boy, is that close. There is not a hundredth in between them. Mirko Bortolotti has somewhere in the range of a 207.974 or a 207.972. That's the only option he has. But he will be starting in the second feature race, or in the second heat race. Maximilian Paul will have a shot at pole position, most that Mirko Bortolotti can get. At the moment, I would say, would be P2, because I don't feel anyone is going to improve in between these two, or ahead of Maximilian Paul. Still out on track. Mikael Derlinger too, but qualifying has come to an end, has come to a close. Let's go and have a look at the grid for the race then. It'll be Maximilian Paul, like I said, starting on the front row together with Yannick Wonenberg. He will have a shot at the pole. Thomas Piba in P3. He will have a shot at pole as well. Robert Hega in fourth and Henrik Augustin fifth. Ivan Ferrari in sixth. Martin Stadtmann in seventh. Philippe Augrin in P8, Florian Stadtmann in 9th, and Christoph Steiner. He will start this race from P10. Then Walter Lux in P11, Niels Langeveld in 12th, P13 for Jens Fiedler, P14 Ben Green, P15 for Manix Heister, Jan Lind 16th, and Christian Ablasser in P17. So then there's Maximilian Paul. And it doesn't look like at the moment anyone is in a hurry. They're taking their time. Hendrik Augustin is the one we're waiting on. Well, he has now joined the grid. There come the 5 red lights. It's going to be lights out.
Green, green, green.
And away we go soon. There's the lights out and away we go. It's a good start from Maximilian Paul. A better start from Thomas Piba. He's going to make his way around the outside of the Kazakh driver. Robert Hega in the background. He will keep third. Ahead of Yannick Wonenberg going into turn 1. The inside defended by Thomas Piba. That'll give the exit to Maximilian Paul. I know, boy, is that an important exit. corners. At the moment, Maximilian Paul gets back his lead that he's so much deserved. In the background, oh no, Thomas Pieper has gone round. Thomas Pieper has gone round. There's calamity in the background. And there goes Maximilian Paul shooting off into the distance now. And that is together with Robert Heger. But my oh my, that's not what they were looking for at the start of this race. Thomas Pieper, the man who took P1 out of turn 1. Well, he's now finding himself in a gravel trap somewhere on the track. And this is 100% less than ideal. Maximilian Paul, however, though, he had nothing to do with it. It all happened behind him. There was contact before with Robert Heger as well. Don't know if Yannick Wannenberg was involved in it. Niels Langeveld is in a fight together with Philippe Boucret. Niels Langeveld is the number 10 behind it. Philippe Boucret the 333. Inside for Philippe Boucret. He's a silver driver. He's going for that silver championship here. And what better of a start than getting into the feature race from the heat race by finishing in the top 5 at the moment. He has about a 1.8 second gap behind him to Ben Green. You know that Ben Green is incredibly quick. Mark Seister, he's up 8 as well. He is back in the Platinum Racing Team colours instead of the DSRT. Oh, there's contact for Mark Seister together with Martin Stottmann, I think that was. Oh no, Martin Stottmann turns him! Well, no room left there at all. Martin Stottmann. Oh my goodness me, what's happening in the mid-pack here? It's so chaotic. Try to find your speed here. Martin Stottmann, that is blocking that you're doing there, sir. That is very dangerous. That's reactive defensive reaction defensive driving. And that is going to cause crashes. And that is not what we like to see here. If you go for a defensive move, you should move before the car behind you moves. If you both move at the same time, well, that's just coincidence. These things can happen. That's racing. But if you move after the car behind you has moved, well, that's just plain blocking. And that is dangerous. Behind him now is Christoph Steiner trying to make his way through. Hendrik Augustin has passed Jens Fiedler on the outside of the right-hander. That'll give him the inside for the left one, and he gets that move done. Jens Fiedler demoted down to P12, still up a position though compared to where he started. Hendrik Augustin down 6. Of course, biggest loser, here he is, Thomas Pieper. Mark Seister, well, he's down to P17 to no fault of his own, and he's out of the race. He will be starting the consolation race from second to last. Looking back then at Maximilian Paul at the front of the field. This is where Maximilian Paul should shine. The white flag is out here, I think. Yes, indeed, the white flag is out. The timer in the top left of your screen might not. Oh, as there it goes. It might not represent that, but I can guarantee you that there is a white flag lap going on. We saw the white flag. It's quite a long lap here at Mugello as well. And even in the 5-minute race, we will have the same amount of laps, so it will be the same race distance. Maximilian Paul still with Robert Heger behind him. Niels Langeveld up 9 positions. He has had a stellar race. He's done everything you can ask for, really. Didn't have the best of qualifyings, but the system that we run at the W12 Sprint Series in that first server allows you to nicely come back without losing too many points. There are aren't too many points up for grabs here in these heat races. Still a considerable amount of points that you could lose a championship on it, but it isn't like it's the end of the world if you finish outside of the top 3. Not at the moment for Niels Langeveld, even though he started all the way down on P12, he would still be finishing in the top 3 at the moment, 3rd. It's the second quickest lap time at the moment, quicker than Robert Hega, and only 300ths of a second slower than Maximilian Paul. Bonenberg on the left hand side of screen, the RA car is going to go for it down the inside, which will become the outside for the left-hander. Is he going to be able to carry the speed through onto the front straight? Well, that's a question for you. For Maximilian Paul, it's going to be race done. There is the checkered flag, and he takes the pole position. For Niels Langeveld, it's just about enough. By about 900ths of a second, he beats him. Ben Green gets beaten by Ivan Ferrari by 200ths of a second. And it's 800ths between Hendrik Augustin and Jens Fiedler. That just tells you, ladies and gentlemen, how close this is. I told you that this was going to be a slipstream affected race. And well, I did not lie. Alright then. Let's take a look at the grid for the next race. After that, we'll have a look at the results. Here we go then. The grid for race number 2. If the grid actually wants to do anything. That is. SDK has been behaving here today. Ah, there we go. There it is. Mirko Bortolotti will start from the pole in the second heat race. Hugo Ropp alongside him. Gustavo Xavier in 3rd. Winston Eckel has changed to Sim Race Sweden Esports this season. He will start from 4th. Of course, the Swede, who was long teammates with him, driving for Gazex, right out of him in the number 21 Gazex car. Florian Becker in 5th. Marinko Jordanovski in 6th. Hugo Zasse 7th. Hendrik Störer 8th. Markus Rima 9th. Ben Bunagel 10th. Michael Dörlinger in 11th. Marius Zug in P12. P13 then for Pascal Haas, Stefano Pellegrino. P14, P15 for Chris Meyer. Torsten Gross 16th. And Davy Överma in P17.
Green.
Going on to the grid then. Mirko Bortolotti. A good start for him. Look at the Gazex cars, all line and stern at the front. Not the best start though for Winston Eckel. A better start for Hugo Ropp and Mirko Bortolotti. They've absolutely bolted. Hugo Ropp's going to go to the outside of the Italian. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Winston Eckel's also dropped down quite a lot of positions here. Hugo Zasse up into P3. He's up 4 places at the start of this race. Hugo Ropp slots in behind Mirko Bortolotti. The only thing these two need to do now at the opening stage of this race, basically create enough of a gap for them themselves now to be able to fight till the end of the race later on. Just now is when you can make up time. Winston Eckel did manage to claw back some positions, back to his original starting position of P4. Marius Zug behind him. He is up 7. A stellar start from that man. Down 8 though for Marinko Jordanovski. Last season wasn't quite the season for Marinko Jordanovski. Looks like at the moment it won't be a season either at the start of this one. Of course, the season's still very early. Gustavo Xavier, he's new for season number 6. Of course, it's raced with W12 before. But Gustavo Xavier into the grass and into the pit lane he goes. Mirko Bortolotti at the front of the field. It's getting quite a lot of time on Hugo Zasse already. He must have had a slowdown of some sort. Something must have happened to Hugo Zasse. Or to Hugo Ropp. Yeah, indeed. Hugo Ropp is behind Winston Eckel now. It's Hugo Zasse in P2. This is how they were lined up. And there's contact with Hugo Ropp once again. And the contact was made with Marius Zug in the number 66. That is him into pit lane. Mirko Bortolotti, look at the gap that he has now. Hugo Zasse is trying to make it a Gaz X1-2. Winston Eccles says, no sir, that's not going to happen. Down the inside of Hugo Zasse. Carries it all the way round. Was there contact in the mid corner though? Because Hugo Zasse all of a sudden went really wide coming out of the last corner. Winston Eccles. Oh, I bet you he doesn't care. He at the moment has P2. However though, race them hard, they're going to race you hard. Race them how you want to be raced. That's what I always say. Hendrik Stöger in the background looking to get through on the both of them. To the outside, to the right hand side of screen off turn 1. He's going to make it stick. Winston Eccles slots back in behind Hugo Zasse. Hendrik Stöger is going to slot it in behind Winston Eccles. And we're all line astern again like we were about 3-4 corners ago. Marcos Rima is ahead of Hugo Romp. Now he's down 4 positions. Once again, it seems like that theme of Hugo Romp qualifying well and then having a mare in the race is continuing. Of course, it doesn't really matter too much where you finish it. This is all just qualifying position at the moment. Hugo Romp would miss out by 1 spot to go through into the feature race immediately. Marinko Jordanovski has clawed his way back up to P7. He was down 9 positions at some point in this race. So coming back to P7, only down 1 from where he started in P6 is not bad at all. Florian Becker, he is down 10. He started in P5, now P15. In front of him. Oh, Hugo Zasse, what happened here then? Was there contact with Winston Eccles? Hugo Zasse went off the track. Here we go, let's have a look at it. Oh, surely that was contact with Winston Eccles. And that might result in a post-race penalty. Going back to live pictures, Winston Eccles that has given him P2 now. That'll be P4 for the feature race. At the moment, Gustavo Xavier is going to start at the complete back of the field. Here is Gustavo Xavier. Marco Bortolotti is already going to come through to lap him. Gustavo Xavier tactically trying a race start there. Down 3 at the moment, Hugo Romp. He's going to try and pass Marcos Rima on the outside. It's not going to happen for him. Hendrik Stöger and Winston Eccles are in the battle as well. And there we go, finally that shows up. That was about time, with about 1 minute to go. This is the white flag lap, and as you can see on the left hand side, that's not how it should look. Give this another shot. See if this works. There we go, that's how it should look, Mirko Bortolotti. At the moment, 4 seconds ahead of Winston Eccles. Hendrik Stöger in 3rd, ahead of Marcos Rima. We're looking at Stöger, who's right on the gearbox of Winston Eccles. Jordanovski in P6, he's fought his way all the way back up. Not a bad drive so far from Jordanovski. Just made it so difficult for himself with not the greatest of starts. Let's be honest. At the moment it looks like he's going to miss out on automatic participation in the feature race. Yes. 1 position away from that, 1 position away from P5 from Hugo Romp. Time is out though for Mirko Bortolotti. He's going to come onto the straight and he's going to continue his winning ways. Not quite for pole though, but for 2nd, and he will have another go. Having about a monster of a start. Try and immediately overtake going down into turn 1. It was about 3 wide of the line there as well. looks like it is it for that race. Right then. Let's see. Waiting for the session to take over. There is the consolation race. Ivan Ferrari will start from pole position ahead of Marinko Jordanovski. Then Ben Green in P3, P4 for Torsten Gross, P5 for Martin Stadtmann, Chris Meyer 6th, Christoph Steiner 7th, Hugo Sasse 8th, Henrik Augustin 9th, Pascal Haas 10th, 11th Jens Fiedler, and Davy Oemer in P12. In P13 we find Walter Lux and Michael Dörlinger, 14 for Jan Lins, or 15 for Jan Lins, 16 for Ben Bühnagel, 17 for Christian Ablasser, 18 for Florian Becker, Florian Stadtmann in P19, Gustavo Xavier on P20, Thomas Pieper P21, Stefano Pellegrino P22, Manix Heister P23, and Marius Zug P24. Well, that was it then. That was on the Ivan Ferrari at the front.
Green flag, green flag.
There the fire red lights. It's lights out and we're underway for the consolation race. It's not the best starts for Ivan Ferrari. Marinko Jordanovski on the outside has a better one. He's immediately going to challenge him down to turn 1 and he gets that position off him. Torsten Gross now behind him. Then it's Christoph Steiner and Chris Meyer. That's how the top 5 is looking at the moment. Like I said, I think we're going to have the same amount of race distance. Across the line, I think, with about 20 seconds to go. So the race will be the same length. Oh my goodness, calamity has happened in the background. You can hear multiple crashes. Oh, Martin Stadtmann is a part of it. So is Ben Green. Well, Gustavo Xavier is a part of it. He's gone back into pit lane. Ben Bühnagel is part of it. Manix Heister, he didn't even start the race. Michael Dörlinger P21, Ben Bühnagel P20, Christoph Steiner in P19. That's less than ideal, let's put it like that. Everyone's into pit lane. Florian Stadtmann is into pit. I think these guys already all pit it. Because they're into pit lane at the moment. The graphic is not lying to you. Meyer, Stadtmann, Pieper, they're into pit lane. And they're definitely not one lap ahead of them. That means that coming out of the last corner, Marinko Jordanovski still leads the way. He's going to come across the line in about 2 minutes 40. Lap times of about 2 minutes 10. Yeah, then I was round about right. 20 seconds, 20, 30 seconds. That's when we're going to cross the line. So we're going to have the exact same race distance, 3 laps. The race will fly by though. Martin Stadtmann having to do some defensive driving. Pascal Haas going to try and make his way around the outside of Martin Stadtmann. That is not going to happen. There's a crash in the background. Henrik Augustin was that crash. Gets back onto the racing line. Luckily not into anyone's harm's way. Augustin is on the verge of the top 10 here. If you look at Henrik Augustin, races, if not one of the featured races even. Definitely has much better performance than you think. Even Ferrari has now taken the front of the field. If these two crash and we wait 6 seconds, at 6 seconds we get closer to this being the checkered flag, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to turn on to the start-finish straight now. Yeah, there they are. They're going to turn on to the start-finish straight now. And like I said, with about 30 seconds left, Ferrari crosses the start-finish line, so that means that this is white flag lap. Pushing Jordanovski all the way to the outside. Smart driving from Ivan. Marinko Jordanovski in P3. Pascal Haas in P4. Florian Becker P5, up 13 positions. My goodness me. Up 17 for Marius Zug. To the guys behind him. It's only growing. They're not fighting. They're not doing anything crazy. And the gap to the guys behind them is just ever growing. So then, on the last lap, Ferrari to defend from Jordanovski, takes the inside. That's what I meant. You have to look before the car decides to go there. That's perfect defending from Ferrari. Felt like Jordanovski was going to go for it in that corner. Moved at the same time, if not a bit earlier than her. Checkered flag looks like it's going to be coming out for Jordanovski and not for Ferrari. Ferrari is going to try one last dive at the inside into the last corner. It's not going to work though. The exit will be for Jordanovski, and it looks like it's going to stay Jordanovski there. Ferrari will have to take a second place. Martin Stadtmann have to take a third. Florian Becker will have to take a fourth. So then that was that race. Ferrari win. Ferrari takes second behind Marinko Jordanovski. Martin Stadtmann in third. Florian Becker fourth. And Pascal Haas in fifth. So then, that were two very successful races. And after that, we have our grid set for the feature race. But before that, there will be a warm-up in between. So then, warm-up is finished, and we're waiting for the grid to appear. There we go. There's the grid for the feature race. Maximilian Paul ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. Both have won a race in the DTM. Mirko multiple, Maximilian Paul won, and that was last season. Won on debut. Robert Hega in P3, Winston Eckel on P4, Niels Langeveld P5, Henry Steurer 6th, Yannick Wonenberg 7th, Marcus Rima P8, Philippe Hugrin P9, Hugo Rob 10th, Milenko Jordanovski 11th, and Ivan Ferrari in P12. P13 then for Martin Stadtman, Florian Becker 14th, Dustin Gross 15th, Marius Souk 16th, 17th, Christian Abelasan, David Oma 18th. We don't have time for more. They're eager to get things going here this evening.
Green flag, green flag.
The red lights are out and we're underway here at Mugello for the feature race. The green flag is waving and it's a good start for Mirko Bortolotti. Less so though for Maximilian Paul, and that's exactly what Mirko Bortolotti was hoping for. Starting from P2, you know you have a chance going down into turn 1. That chance you don't have to give Mirko Bortolotti twice because he will take it. There will be a pit stop that you need to make. Oh, there's a crash in the background. Oh my goodness. And everyone's going off. Winston Eckel is right behind Hugo Rob. That's the top 5 at the moment. Henrik Steurer in 6th, Niels Langeveld 7, down 2, Marcus Rima in 8, Marek Jordanovski up 2, Marius Souk up 6. But what just happened there? Yannick Wonenberg, he was the one that went off in the Oreo car. All positions lost for Torsten Gross as well, and that car looks hampered, that Mario livery. Bortolotti, 6/7 of a second at the front of the field. That's exactly what Mirko Bortolotti wants. He wants to get Maximilian Paul out of his slipstream. Maxi is quick though, and Mirko knows that. The slipstream also playing effect here. This is all flat out in these cars. The slipstream playing a huge effect. Getting a huge amount though for Maximilian Paul. Behind them, at the moment it's a Gazex 1, 2, 3. Keep it clean this time. If he does so, he would be up for an incredible result, not only for himself but also for the Gazex team. Winston Eckel up the inside of Niels Langeveld. That's Dutchman on Dutchman. The outside for Niels Langeveld. both moved at the same time there. That's what I meant with that. These things can happen. That's racing. They both tried to open up the corner at the same time. Niels Langeveld tried to sell Winston the dummy. Didn't quite work out. The outside once again for Niels Langeveld. Is he going to manage to go the long way round? Yes, he is. That's the answer to that question. There's contact once again between the two that happened before with Winston Eckel. Winston Eckel now up into P3, and that is because Robert Hega had to slow down for some vague reason, but Winston Eckel through to P4. Next on his list is Hugo Rupp, now 1.5 seconds ahead. He is in the slipstream of Maximilian Paul. Maximilian Paul right on the gearbox of Mirko Bortolotti. These three are all driving for the same team, remember that. These three are all teammates, but we know that in the W12 Sprint Series there is no such thing as team. Everyone's on his own. Everyone drives for his own glory. Hugo Rupp at the moment has the quickest lap time of the race. Purple in every sector. Which looks like at the moment, with 14 minutes to go, Mirko Bortolotti, but it's really too close to say, to be honest. Feeling the closer these three get, the less you can separate them. At least we know that Maximilian Paul is in the yellow livery, and for Mirko Bortolotti it's more of a gold livery. Maximilian Paul on the left hand side of the screen, going up the inside of Mirko Bortolotti. And Hugo Rupp tried to make his way through as well, cheekily trying to make his way through. Winston Eckel is catching up because of it together with Niels Langeveld. Mirko Bortolotti had a look at the inside of Maximilian Paul. Didn't quite work out there. Switchback didn't work. Doesn't work in these cars because you have such low power. You need so much overspeed to make that work. Hugo Rupp now is all on the back of Mirko Bortolotti. He might be dropping down 3 positions here. And don't count Hugo Rupp out of this one either. We know that he's had a couple of incidents before, but tonight doesn't look like that's going to be the night for him. Tonight looks like he is actually going to once perform where he should be. That is at the front of the field. If he doesn't crash, if he just keeps up the pace that he's driving right now, like he always does, well then he should be where he is right now, and that is in the top 3 at least. Mirko Bortolotti always singing the praises of Hugo Rupp, and rightly so, of course. Bortolotti half. 0.3 of a second was the gap. Half a second is the gap from Hugo Rupp to Maximilian Paul. The gap to Niels Langeveld and Winston Eckel is coming down too. However, though, these two are fighting themselves, so they are slowing each other down once again. That's something you need when you see them fighting ahead. But if these two work together, they can catch up to the top 3 and they can actually fight for a victory here. But at the moment it looks like Niels Langeveld is not going to choose for that option. He's going to go for the immediately overtake option down the inside of Winston Eckel. He gets the position and he's up into P4. Looks in the background behind Stefano Pellegrino. Stefano Pellegrino went a bit deep there going into the first corner. But all is fine. Looks still on the outside. The Gazdex delivery, that is Stefano Pellegrino. Trying different lines is Lutz, and that is the gravel. Thought for a second there that they crashed. It sounded like it. What we of course also need to keep an eye out for is the pit stops. Drivers are starting to make their pit stops. Here's Maximilian Paul in the front of the field who will up his hand to drop back. He's fallen back into the clutches of Niels Langeveld now, who was within a second of him. Michael Bortolotti hanging on by a thread here. I find it difficult to see Michael Bortolotti overtake Maximilian Paul if Maximilian keeps up the pace that he has right now. That number 71 GR86 looks quick, but we know that it doesn't only have to look quick, it has to be, it has to actually be quick. Well then, Michael Bortolotti had a bit of a look up the inside of Maximilian Paul, couldn't quite make it stick though. Hugo up 7 places at the moment. If we look at the moment, who's gained the most positions? Well, that is Michael Derlinger. With having made their pit stop, it looks to be Chris Meyer. No, it isn't Chris Meyer. I was going to say that would be incredible, but it isn't Chris Meyer. Martin Stockman at the moment leading the drivers that have already made their pit stop. Once again, just as in any other race, we're seeing quite a lot of strategy variety in the field. Some people opted to go early, some people opted to go in the middle, some people opting to go very late. Trying to catch that last minute flight. Martin Stockman is quick on the way as well. So Maximilian Paul staying in the way, just did the fastest lap of the race. He is creating a bit of a gap for himself together with Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko Bortolotti though says, I don't care about the fact that you've done the fastest lap. I'm behind you and I'm determined to overtake you. Is he going to defend the inside or is he not? He decides not to, and he doesn't need to. That's good for Maximilian Paul, no driving offline too much. Well, for one, absolutely destroy your tires. Two, it'll also overheat them, and once you overheat them, you're in this downward spiral, so that's never a great thing. Bortolotti having to drive different lines, not the conventional lines, not the lines that he wants to drive. Well then, 6 minutes left. That's the length of a feature race or of a sprint race. And the drivers have left at the moment. That is the length that Maximilian Paul has to hang on for. Depending on when they're going to make their pit stop, they might have 2 or 3 more laps here. I have a feeling it's going to be 2. Who am I to judge? Alright then, here's Maximilian Paul going to peel into the pit lane this time round. Yes, he is. Mirko Bortolotti is going to continue a lap. He's been able to save fuel behind Maximilian Paul. That's what I feel like when, or Mirko Bortolotti has done. Winston Eckel has continued, Henrik Störer has continued. So these are the three that have continued. Henrik Störer, Winston Eckel, Mirko Bortolotti. What have these guys done that the others haven't, that is going to gain them an advantage, or that they think is going to gain them an advantage? And the pit lane, Mirko Bortolotti. I feel like at the moment is within the pit stop window of Maximilian Paul. That'll be another strategic masterclass from the Italian. It won't be the first time he's done something like that. And it's not a new thing anymore with him. There's a reason he's a 5-time champion. Behind to Winston Eckel is 5.8 seconds. So enough of a gap to comfortably make a pit stop and come out ahead of him. But there's also a lot of cars that can fit in between him. 6 seconds the gap now. And it's only ever growing. To the pit lane he goes. I feel like we are definitely going to get 2 more laps here. Where is Maximilian Paul? Well, he's here. He's gone into the last corner now. Yeah, I feel like we will have 2 more laps. Yeah, there we go. 2 laps to go. And the feature race will be over. There's no white flag out. There won't need to be any white flag out because we will have the possibility to go again. Maximilian Paul has stayed 7th. He's made a mistake in the pit stop. He's stopped for 10 seconds longer than everyone else. Mirko Bortolotti leads the race ahead of Hugo Rob, then Niels Langeveld. Robert Hegan P4, Marius Soep 5th. Winston Eckel in P6. Pit lane time for him is the same as everyone else ahead of him. Our new race leader, Mirko Bortolotti, the number 92 Gazax racing car. There's a number 2, Hugo Rob and Niels Langeveld still making the Gazax 1, 2, 3. So very good team performance. Robert Hega ahead of Marius Soep and Winston Eckel. A little bit further back, Gustav Steiner is behind Michael Dörlinger. He's trying to pick up those last positions, those last couple of spots. The last spot that he so desperately wants. Oh, that's a bit wide though. Michael Dörlinger behind him. Up the inside goes Florian Becker. Has to make this last to go the wrong way round. Will get the exit though. Well then. Wasn't any white flag last time round. There will be for sure this time round. He's already gone through turn 1. He is already on the last lap, so is Hugo Rob. So is almost everyone else, all the way down to Rima. Stopman, oh my goodness, he has Ben Green right ahead of him, and then even Ferrari. Green, however, the cork in the bottle at the moment. Is gaining on Mirko Bortolotti, but it's by far not enough to challenge him in any way. If nothing crazy happens going into the last corner, Mirko Bortolotti will come through to win once again and open the season like he wants to. But you have to say, this race was very much for Maximilian Powell. 11 seconds too long. Here he comes then through the last corner. Mirko Bortolotti wins ahead of Hugo Rob and Niels Langeveld to make it a Gazex Racing Team 1-2-3. Then it's Robert Hega in P4, Marius Zoek in P5 up 11. What a drive from him, Maximilian Paul in 6th. Winston Eckel in 7th, and what a drive from all of them. My oh my. Still a drive from everyone. Henrik Steurer stopped on the side of the track, of course. Maybe we're about halfway through at the moment. Well then, we're waiting for Dave Eoma to finish, and then we can go and look at the results. There he is then, coming on to the start-finish straight to give us the result. And I crossed the line and everyone has finished. Unbelievable results. There it is. Mirko Bortolotti wins, Ed Hugo Rob, then Niels Langeveld P3, Robert Hega 4th, Maximilian Paul 5th, Henrik Steurer 6th, Martin Stadtman 7th, Hendrik Augustin 8th, Manik Jordanovski 9th, Thomas Piba 10th, Ivan Ferrari 11th, Ben Green 12th, Gustavo Xavier 13th, Jan Lins 14th, Marcus Riemann 15th, Florian Stadtman 16th, 17th, Florian Becker, Christoph Steiner P18, Marius Zoek 19th, Michael Derlinger in P20. P21 for Chris Meyer, Winston Eckel P22, P23 for Jens Fiedler, Ben Buenager P24, Stefano Pellegrino 25, 26 for Christian Ablesa, Walter Lux P27, Yannick Wonenberg P28, Philippe Bugray 29, Torsten Gross P30. P31 for David Eoma, Pascal Haas at P32, Hugo Zas at P33, and Marnix Heister P34. Well, I think for us it's about time to go to the draw. Let's see who we can find there. Yep, loud and clear. Yep, we can all see it.
LMDH, LMP3, and the Super Formula. So let's standard procedure. Select 2 cars.
The GT3, of course, we ended with last season. It's going to be in the draw to be one of the first cars that we race in season 6. See what the second car will be that will go into the final draw. The second car going into the final draw will be a GT car 2, and it's the GTE. Both of them, of course, we had last season. GTE first race last season was at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park.
Right, let's move over to the track options for server 2. There is a little star at the end of each track, indicating that those tracks are eligible for the Super Formula as well. But in that case, it's not relevant as it's not in the final draw for tonight. So I think we are ready to go and select the 2 tracks.
So then, first track on the roster to end up as the final track for server 2 will be Rudskogen. Well, we went there last season too. That was with the GTPs. To Norway, Rudskogen Motor Center. Let's see what the other track will be. That will go into the final trial. It will be Rudskogen together with either Motegi or Atlanta. And it's going to stay Motegi.
Would be interesting combos for sure.
We haven't had the combo yet with neither of the cars. So of course, as always, we're gonna draw the track first, and then we see which car.
Correct. So GTE GT3 means standing start once again. And let's find out what track we're gonna race on in Server 2 tonight. Keep an eye on the balance of performance page in the Discord to see how the cars are on that sheet. And once again, just to make sure everybody got it right, you are free to choose whatever car you want in both cases.
So then, let's decide which track we're gonna be at for the first time this year in Server 2. It's going to be, oh, that was almost a tie, but it's going to be Rudskogen. We're going to Norway. The question is though, which car will we take? The GT3 or the GTE? It'll be the GTE at Rudskogen Motor Center for Server 2.
GTE at Rudskogen, everyone. So have fun, enjoy. Keep in mind what I said at the beginning of the draw now. And let's have some good racing, good battles, and yeah, see you later. Enjoy, and thank you.
So then, that was an interesting one, to say the least, and it's going to be an interesting one. We'll be changing servers, and we will be right back with the remainder of the first week of the W12 Sprint Series.
green flag, green flag.
So, apparently, I was muted on stream. Well, there you go. You've just had that whole race in silence. Anyways, Mirko Bortolotti won after a majestic fight with Hugo Robb, his teammate. Hugo really does seem to have picked up the pace and stayed consistent in that one. So that's a good result for him once again. Almost matching his teammate Mirko Bortolotti, if not matching him. It's really difficult though, it seems like, to pass at this track. Florian Becker finishes third at Ben Green in fourth. Hendrik Steurer in fifth, and Winston Eckel finishes in sixth after he had quite a big fight with his old teammate Marnix Huister, the both of them running the same livery. The same livery that they ran for Platinum Racing Team back in the day. So those two had a good fight. Marnix Huister ended up in ninth in that race. Christoph Steiner ended up in P10. Thomas Piba and Hugo Zasse had their own respective trouble. They finished up in P7 and P8. Still, however, though, quite a good result for the both of them. Martin Stadtmann then finished in 11th. Robert Heger in 12th. 13th for Chris Meyer. 14th for Florian Stadtmann. 15th for Gustavo Xavier. Michael Dörlinger finished in P16 ahead of Christian Ablasser in 17th. Philippe Rougrain in 18th. 19th for Ivan Ferrari. And 20th for Niels Langeveld. Well then, let's go and have a look at the grid and see how we line up. Here we go then. Philippe Rougrain will start from pole position ahead of Christian Ablasser. Michael Dörlinger in third, Gustavo Xavier in fourth, Florian Stadtmann fifth, Chris Meyer sixth, Robert Heger seventh, Martin Stadtmann eighth, Christoph Steiner in ninth, Marnix Huister in 10th, Thomas Piba 11th, Hugo Zasse 12th. A good starting position for the both of them. 13th will be for Winston Eckel ahead of Hendrik Steurer on 14th, Ben Green 15th, Florian Becker 16th, Hugo Robb 17th, and Mirko Bortolotti, the winner of course of the last race, starting on 18th. Ivan Ferrari in 19th, Niels Langeveld in 20th, 21st, Stefano Pellegrini 22nd, Marius Zul. That's all we have time for. The firefight lights are going to be coming on soon. There they are.
Green flag.
And the lights are out and we're underway. It's so difficult to start these GTE cars, like I said, but you didn't hear it at the start of the last race, and that is proven by the fact that Florian Stadtmann absolutely rockets up the field. He goes into P1 and Philippe Rougrain or Pole City. Then Michael Dörlinger stays in P3. Chris Meyer finishes in P4, or stays in P4. Christian Ablasser in P1. Robert in 6. 7 is Thomas Piba. And at the moment 8, it's Hugo Zasse. 8 and 5, there goes Hugo Zasse though in the number 8 Kazakh's car. And well, my oh my, that's a big one. And there's about 5-6 cars off the track there. Who all was involved in it? Marnix Huister, Martin Schima, Dave Hugo Zasse, Jens Fiedler were all involved in it. So it looked like was Marinko Jordanovski. Quite a big gap to Jan Lins in front of them. He's close to the backpack or to the end of the pack. Florian Stadtmann, what a start he got. We'll have a look back at that in a moment, but my oh my, that is something else. We saw some early pit stoppers in the last race. They came in on lap number 1. We'll see the same now. That's the question. It's a question that we'll soon have the answer to. And there are a couple of early pit stoppers. A couple of them have of course also had the damage, so they are forced to stop early. Ben Buhnagel in early. Martin Stadtmann is in early as well. The rest is Jens Fiedler, Niels Langeveld, Florian Becker, Walter Lux and Hugo Zasse. They're all in early. Pitting on the first lap of the race. As always, the feature race, 18 minutes. minute, Kazakh's 1-2. Kazakhs has been on top of it this evening with all of their drivers. And once again, this is Chris Meyer this time coming into the pit lane for the Austrian Sim Racers. Hugo Hopp is in early, so is Marius Zug. Will that pay off though for them? You know that Hugo Hopp, like I said, could almost match Marco Bortolotti, so let's see where he comes out compared to him. Florian Stadtmann on the inside compared to Philipp Hugre on the outside. Florian Stadtmann has to give it, he has a slowdown. Florian Stadtmann has a slowdown, that's why he's slow on the inside. How many positions is he going to lose with it? Looks like at the moment he drops down to P6. There's the BMW. Oh, Ben Green coming past as well. Winston Eckel in the Porsche. He can't quite get past the managers to slow down enough before Winston Eckel got past him. But he went from hero at the start to absolute zero now after that slowdown. That's how quickly it can go in racing. Not ideal at all there. Philipp Hugre will be happy with that though. He now is in the lead. Michael Döhlinger in the Golf livery Porsche. He's now right up the back bumper of once again, some people coming into the lane. Let's move down these early stoppers. We are on number 4 of the race now. They pitted on lap number 3. So let's look consider these quite early stoppers. That's a bit naughty there from Robert Heger. Went on the inside of Döhlinger. And while doing so went wide. Going into turn 3, excuse me. Because of that, pushed Michael Döhlinger all the way out. Michael Döhlinger is now in another fight once again with the 4GT. Start the 4GT of Thomas Pieper, the ASR 4GT. Wilson Sim Races number 53. Once again, Michael Döhlinger has lost that place. He's dropping down the order. Foster is storing the water at the moment. Ben Green. And Winston Eckel coming in early. Winston Eckel, what are you doing, son? My oh my! Into the pit wall. That's a bit too much of pushing on the pit entry. And that's going to for sure have damaged the aerodynamics, if not the steering rack of that Porsche. And after what was quite a good opening stint here from Winston Eckel, he throws everything away by punting his car into the pit wall. See if he has sustained any damage from that. But with the gyro cam, it looks like the steering is straight. Now with Winston Eckel. See when he comes down the hill. Yeah, okay, steering seems to be straight for Winston Eckel. That's, I think, the most important thing ahead of him. There's a fight going on. Marius Zug and Ben Green. Past, but Ben Green then really takes him again. Amazing scrap going on in front of him. Now Winston Eckel's going to be the next one to try and pass Ben Green. Robert Heger at the front of the field now. He's past Philipp Hugre. Thomas Pieper, the other 4GT, is now coming through as well. Robert Heger is very quickly running away with things here. doesn't quite have the pace that the GoPro 4 GT has in front of him. Because of that, Thomas Piba and Philippe Hugret both are losing pretty quickly to him. 10 minutes on the clock. Thomas Piba decides to come in. There's Mikael Derlinger. Gets back past now during this pit stop phase. First driver who has made a pit stop at the moment is Hugo Rob. Marco Bortolotti is right behind him in the BMW. If you look at this tight and twisty track, BMW might not be the best car on it. Quite a heavy car, quite a big car, quite a long wheelbase car as well. Same goes for the 4 GT. Something like this, I'd much rather be going with a Porsche on the inside of Thomas Piba. That's Marius Stug still keeping that position. Doing a tremendous job in that Tag Heuer Porsche. Robert Hege out at the front of the field. Philippe Hugret, having gone into pit lane, has about a 6-second gap. He is flying. Mikael Derlinger. He's also staying out as long as possible, it seems like. Why is Hugo Rob compared to Philippe Hugret? Philippe Hugret has now left his pit box. I have a feeling it's going to be a close one together with Robert Hege. And he is indeed about 4 seconds behind on Hugo Rob. So I don't think that Robert Hege is in too bad of a position here. He could well be on for a victory in that 4 GT if he doesn't wait too long with that pit stop. Pit stop time about 40, or pit lane time, about 41 seconds. About 25 of those you're standing still, about 25, 26 of those you're standing still. So that's definite time lost. So then when's Robert Hege going to come in? Well, there's your answer. The answer is now. Waiting for Hugo Rob to appear in the picture. He's going to get him. He's going to get him. They're going to be side by side coming out of pit lane. But Robert Hege was just a little bit too late. And he gets done. So now it's going to be a straight fight to the end. 5 minutes to go for Robert Hager to try and make something happen, or will Hugo Rob get that victory finally? And this would be a very deserved victory, not a victory that he gets because of a reverse grid like he did last season. Intentionally taking that reverse grid pole position and just setting off into the sunset. That he didn't do this time. Setting off into the sunset, however, he could still do. Quite has the pace he needs to try and match Hugo Rob. If he does though, that's going to give us an amazing fight to the end of the race. 4 minutes to go. About 3 laps after this one, I guess. Lap times of about 1 minute 16. Time round, that was the time for Hugo Rob. Robert Hager's keeping up here with Hugo. So he's not going to get it for free. Oh, that's a bit deep though, Robert. That's not going to do you any good. Coming out of the final corner, the gap stays about 6/10 of a second. Like it did at the start of that lap. Laps left, 2 after this one. Hugo Rob with last season being unlucky, always finding himself in the wrong situation at the wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time, every time, it looked like for Hugo Rob. This season, he's been much more composed at the start of this one. And he looks like a real title challenger for Mirko Bortolotto, who's at the moment in 4th place. This is the battle, however, that we're focusing on. 5/10 of a second, once again coming out of that last corner. Time going to be 1 for Hugo Rob. He's so strong out of there once again. He's going to keep that gap exactly the same, if not about 100 bigger. Second to last lap now. 2 more laps for Hugo Rob to soak up the pressure that Robert Hager is putting on him. 2 more laps for Robert Hager to keep the pressure on. Further back, Yannick Molenberg is also in a battle together with Walter Luxem, Florian Stadtmann. Ahead of that is even Ferrari, suitably in a Ferrari. Hager. Here's the gap. Going to enter the last lap. The gap has opened up a bit. Has Robert Hager thrown in the towel? Robert Hager doesn't seem the person to make to throw in the towel before the checkered flag drops. The gap has grown by about 0.2 of a second. Hugo Rob on the verge of taking another victory. His second victory only in the W12 Sprint Series compared to the amount that Mirko Bortolotti has. Those are baby numbers, but it's a step in the right direction. A step to show that he's here to fight for the title. A step to show that he's not bowing down to his teammate. And he has a couple more corners to go to complete that step. Robert Heger has given him a fight to the end. He had to fight for it, he had to drive for it, he had to pick up the pace in the middle of the race to try and get out ahead of Robert Heger after he had made his pit stop. The pit stop time of Robert Heger 6 tenths quicker than that one of Hugo Rob. But all of that wasn't enough to keep this man from winning. He got a second in the first race, did it from P17. Hugo Rob wins the second race at Rudskogen Motor Center. And that is an amazing achievement for the Swede, who's been so quick on multiple occasions last season. Wasn't quite able to pull it off then. But he's done it this time round. He's done it this time of asking. But wow, what a race we've just seen from start to finish. That was full of action. Well, that's a sad Porsche trundling across the start-finish line. Well, let's take a look at the standings. Here we go. Here's the result. That was a V1. Here we go. That's the result of the feature race. Hugo Rob ahead of Robert Heger. Then Marius Zug in third. Mirko Bortolotti in fourth. Winston Eckel in fifth. Niels Langeveld in sixth. Maximilian Paul in seventh. Thomas Pieper eighth. Philippe Hugray in ninth. And Florian Becker in 10th. Ivan Ferrari in 11th. Suitably in a Ferrari. Florian Stadtmann in 12th. Yannick Vonenberg in P13. Walter Lux P14. Gustavo Xavier in 15th. Ben Green 16th. Christoph Steiner in 17th. A good race for him. 18th for Marinko Jordanovski. 19th for Jens Fiedler. 20th for Christian Ablasa. P21 for Torsten Gross. P22 for Jan Lens, P23 for Ben Buhnagel, 24 Davy Euwema, and P24 for, or P25 for Chris Meyer, Hendrik Störer, P26, Hugo Zass, P27, Stefano Pellegrino, P28, Michael Dörlinger, P29, Martin Stadtmann in P30. And behind that, Manis Heijs and Markus Rima not starting the race. Well then, let's talk about some highlights of that race with our drivers. And let's start with a man that'll probably be very happy. A man that I haven't talked to in quite a while here in the commentary booth. Hugo, welcome in and congratulations. How was that race? He says kind of boring, like he does it every day. He did give you a good run for your money, did Robert Heger at the end though. at what point did the tire degradation, excuse me, become a factor in the race? Going back to the first race though, Hugo, you finished right behind Mirko. You had a rough run of results last season. You were quick, found yourself in the wrong place, the wrong time, every time it looked like. Do you think this season, with how you've started it, you can do a throw to possibly dethrone the 5-time champion? All right, Hugo. Thank you very much and congratulations. Well, following on from that will be Robert Hega. Robert, welcome in. Robert, you gave Hugo a great run for his money there at the end. Do you think that if you stopped maybe a lap earlier, you would have been able to be ahead of him? Robert, for the first race, tell us how that one went. Yep. For the season now, Robert, you've had quite a good start of the season, let's be honest. What are the goals for the season? It sure will be, and you look like you have another challenger there too with Hugo now putting his pieces together. Well, Robert, thank you very much, and congratulations on your podium. Well then, let's continue with our silver winner in that second race, Philip Ugren. Welcome in. Philip, a good race, a good evening, I think we can say, from your side. Tell us all about it. If you would say, if there's anything that you could do different in that first race, what would it be? All right. Well, Philip, thank you very much, and congratulations. Well, let's move on to Florian Becker then. Florian, welcome in. Florian? Ah, there you go. There's Florian. I thought for a second we were going to miss him. Florian, tell us how your evening went. Right, well, thank you very much, Florian, and congratulations. Well then, that was all for this evening. I hope you enjoyed. We certainly did over here. Excuse me for the fact that you weren't able to hear me in the first race of that. It was quite a good race. I was going at it very hard here in the commentary booth, but sadly you weren't able to hear that. Well then, thank you all very much once again for being here. And well, we will see you all next time on the Friday. Bye bye.